And we're live. Look at that. We're back.
Been a while.
A
It's
little
been
bit
a
of a
while.
delay, but we're back. Um,
Been almost a full month.
yeah. Oh, that's like the longest I think we've gone between episodes. I think we can give ourselves
Oh
a
yeah.
break. You know.
Oh yeah.
Um, so we live streamed the draft. It was fun. Well, it was also painful, but it was mostly fun. So we're not going to be as emotional with our draft grades and with our reactions to these picks. We've had a month to sit on it. OTAs have started. A bunch of rookies have started making some impressions with the teams. We'll see. We'll go into it. But these are our draft grades. We're gonna go over. We'll have them up on the screen as we're talking about them.
Yeah.
Start with Brennan here. What about your grading scale?
So the way I did my grading scale is I first off made my grade based off how much I like the player, a little bit of positional value, and also where I projected him to go, where I had him graded.
Okay.
And I based off kind of like a grading scale. For an A plus, you got a grade of a 4.25. For an A, you got 4, and for A minus, you got 3.75. And the same thing is just one letter grade down. You go one number down.
Cool.
And I didn't do any D's. As soon as you were below a C minus, I just gave you an F, which means you got a 0, which impacted a lot of draft grades kind of harshly. Um, but
Yeah.
it's the way it went.
Hey,
There's some grades. There's the draft grade. There's a draft that I absolutely love, but has a lower grade because it had 2 Fs, and
I think
we'll
I
get
know
to
what
that
I
later.
know exactly what draft that is. I don't even have to see your document. I haven't looked at his document past the two cover pages. I already know what draft class you're talking about. Mine's a little different. I actually did these a while ago. I updated them a little bit, but these were actually pretty much my draft grades right after the draft, or pretty much. I went completely different. I kind of just went by what I kind of felt like, and it's a mixture of things. Positional value, of course, what the team needed, but I also did counter into what they passed on. Now, I didn't scrutinize every single first round pick, or otherwise no one would have anything higher than a B. But you'll see with some of the teams later on that if they passed on a player that I felt they really needed, I'm going to lower that pick a little bit. That was mainly just for the first round. Other than that, it's just what I think. I gave Fs, D minuses, Ds. We'll see, but we'll see. We'll get into it. So we'll
All right.
just jump into it. Cardinals. Start off with you. You don't have to
You
go
want
over
to just
every.
do favorite player and then
Yeah,
favorite pick and least favorite pick from each?
yeah, I think, and they can see
All
it
right.
on the screen.
So I gave the Cardinals obviously a B grade with an average grade point average of 2.96, which is about average. It's I think slightly below average. I believe most of mine were around that, hovering around that 3 point. So it was a good draft, not a great draft, and not a terrible class.
Yep.
My favorite pick was Marco Wilson, the corner out of Florida. I believe that was some great value, and I believe he should be a great addition to that secondary. And my least favorite pick was Tay Gowan, the corner out of UCF. I believe that was a bit of a reach. I wanted to put him more towards seventh rounded, undrafted. I just didn't care for the pick all that much there.
Yep. All right. And there's one more time. I'll flash it between. Here's mine. Cardinals. I gave them a C, and I'll be honest. I wasn't a huge fan of a lot of the positions they went. I like the players, but I didn't think they really addressed their positions of need. My favorite pick out of this whole one, I guess it would be their first round pick, Zaven Collins. I really enjoy the energy he's going to bring to the team. Not a lot of guys had him that high, and you might even say they didn't really need him, in which you'd have a point. But I think already a better Hassan Reddick replacement. He can give you a little pass rush. He can drop back in coverage. He's going to give you kind of an everything. And for a defense that doesn't really have an identity yet, if you can get as many playmakers on the field as possible, that's going to help you. Least favorite pick, I guess I would have to go Victor Dumucci at the edge out of Duke. I did not like him at all. I didn't even have him graded. I'm not huge on him. I even went back, and I know it's nagging on a 6th-round pick is kind of stupid, but everything else on the draft was just kind of average. Marco Wilson, Rondale Moore, I didn't see the value in it. They're good players in a vacuum, but I don't really see the need for the Cardinals. Can the draft class turn into a good B plus? I think so. But as of right now, I don't see much rookie impact outside of Zayvon Collins for the
That's
Cardinals.
fair.
So
That's definitely fair.
Atlanta,
The Atlanta Falcons.
This should be interesting. I'll let you go again first.
All right, so I gave him a B, average GPA of 2.91, so just below the Arizona Cardinals. Obviously, I'm not going to say my favorite pick is Kyle Pitts just because he's the highest grade. That's kind of lazy.
Yeah.
I'm going to go with my favorite pick being Jalen Mayfield, the offensive tackle out of Oklahoma State. Dude's just an absolute brawler. Absolutely love his tape. And my least favorite pick, I'd have to say, is Taquan Graham. I didn't really have him graded. I wasn't that big of a fan of his.
Yeah.
And it shows up in the grading.
Yeah. Taquan Graham was definitely one of those picks that I didn't understand either. Looking at mine, again, like you say, I'm not going to, bail out and say, oh, Kyle Pitts. I'm going to go Drew Dahlman, the center out of Stanford. I think he has a very real reason to be an instant Alex Mack replacement. He's a little raw, and I didn't grade him in the top 100 because he needs to really step his technique up. He's more of just a power guy right now. But if you can develop him to have that more technique on the inside, that Atlanta offensive line is young, but it can really be a good unit. I just don't think it's this season. And then my least favorite pick out of Atlanta's draft class, I'm actually going to go with their 5th-round pick, Avery Williams, a corner out of Boise State. Again, 5th-round pick. I mean, you can't really harp on him too much. It's a 5th-round pick. But I thought there was so many better corners in the 5th. Israel Mukuamu didn't go until the 6th round. We'll talk about it a little bit later. So, again, passing on guys like that for a corner that I don't even think is really going to be even in he may be a special teams player for you. A little low on that. But the Falcons overall, I was really high on him. I gave him a B grade. And as you'll see with my draft grades, that's actually pretty good. I was pretty ruthless on a few of these.
Did you not grade Frank Darby, their 6th-round pick?
I did not. I guess I didn't see him when I was doing it. Oof. That's tough. Dang it. All right. You may see a little mistakes like that, but it's all right. The Baltimore Ravens. I got ahead of myself.
Baltimore's first. BA over BU.
Baltimore always drafts good. What do you expect?
Yeah. I gave him an A-. This is my highest GPA of the draft. I'll go over my top 5 graded classes at the very end. They got a 3.65, which was the best by far. Rashad Bateman, I could easily say was my favorite at an A+ just because of how much they need that bigger wide receiver. But for a more underrated pick, I'm going to go with Shaun Wade, the corner out of Ohio State. This is a corner that just going into this draft class before this college football season, he was even thrown up as the #1 corner in this year's class and had kind of a falling off. Yep. They kind of flexed him out to a bunch of different positions he wasn't comfortable with. So if Baltimore can keep him in that slot corner position where he really excelled, I think you got a great addition to that Baltimore Ravens secondary right there.
I have to agree.
And my least favorite pick, it's probably going to be their... I'm going to go with Brandon Stevens, the corner out of Southern Methodist. Wasn't that high on him. I thought there was probably other places you could have easily gone the 3rd round to help bolster this team.
Yeah.
You probably could have gone offensive tackle since you just lost Orlando Brown. I thought that would have been a better move.
Yeah. But at the same time, I mean, the Browns, they've always been known to stock up on corners, and the bad ones you don't really kind of hear about, and the good ones you always hear about. For me, the Baltimore Ravens, I gave them an A overall. I love the class. It's one of my higher graded ones. Favorite pick, you could go a lot here. Obviously, Shaun Wade, I gave a B. Ben Cleveland, the guard out of Georgia, B+. Odafe Owe, 2nd first-round pick out of Penn State. All great players. But I'm going to go Tylan Wallace, wide receiver out of Oklahoma State. I mean, listen, they have a huge receiver problem, and they addressed it in Rashad Bateman. But I think everyone kind of knew they were going to double dip at the receiver position. And Tylan Wallace was kind of known as like a easy lock for the top 3 rounds. I think everyone you talked to, they were talking about Tylan Wallace as a top 100 pick. And he slipped to the 4th, I think, which shouldn't have happened. I don't know how he did. 131, which is just absurdly low. He brings great separation. They think he's a bigger body. The only thing I really concern is where you're going to put him. at the receiver room right now because you have all those guys. You have Bateman, Watkins, Hollywood, and now you got Wallace, and then you still have Miles Boykin. So there's going to be a lot of shuffling around. Some guys are going to need to learn some new roles. Someone's going to have to play the slot, and I think it's going to have to be Rashad Bateman. So Tylan Wallace gives you another outside threat. Possibly could flex him into the slot. We'll see. He's a great player. Least favorite pick. I mean, can you really? I mean, I guess I'd agree with you on the Brandon Stevens pick. You could say
It's just
Dalen
grasping at
Hayes.
straws with the Baltimore Ravens. Like, what's the worst pick?
Yeah, I mean Dalen Hayes out of Notre Dame was okay. Ben Mason, I love as a 5th round pick. Ben Mason's going to be great in the league. I can't really. I'll just go with Brandon Stevens. I'll be lazy. Brandon Stevens.
All right. Buffalo Bills. All right. So the Buffalo Bills for me, I gave them a B plus with a GPA of 3.15, and if it was like in the middle, I just rounded up. So 3.15 is higher than 3.125. So obviously it gets rounded up to B plus to the 3.25. So it's closer to that than a 3.0.
Yeah.
My favorite pick, I'm gonna go with Damar Hamlin, the safety out of Pittsburgh. He was one of my favorite safeties this whole class, and I was surprised to see him fall all the way to 6th.
Yeah.
It's a great pickup for the Bills. He can learn behind those two great safeties that they have there. Their worst pick, to me, is Rashad Wilgoose, the corner out of Wisconsin. I didn't even have him graded. I had him as a UDFA. They addressed corner, the only corner they got in the class, but I just don't think it was a great pickup. I thought there were other better corners on the board.
That you're going to see that a lot for these picks. The corner class was so deep, and there were a lot of reaches in the middle rounds that you're going to see a lot of corners as a least favorite pick. So I don't blame you. Buffalo Bills. I wasn't that high on the Bill as much. Some people have that grade as extremely high. I gave them just a B, kind of almost a middle of the road. Of course, you got the guys at the top, those edge rushers, those big guys. That's great. I'll be actually honest. I wasn't that high on Damar Hamlin. I had him as a UDFA. I didn't see it. I watched his game tape. I even watched it after the draft. Maybe I'm just a hater. I watched it. Good, but I just don't. I worry about his processing at the next level. I don't see it. Good athleticism, but just not my type of player. My favorite pick. I'm gonna go Spencer Brown out of Northern Iowa. Big tackle. He's not gonna be Orlando Brown for you. I think that's something they're gonna have to realize. He's not gonna be that caliber of player. Maybe not even ever. He's gonna be a solid plug-and play. I still worry about that Baltimore offensive line. A lot of shuffling going on. Buffalo. Shit. Sorry.
We're talking about Buffalo.
I'm sorry.
I was like, why
I'm
did you bring up Orlando Brown?
I'm still in Baltimore. The same thing. I wasn't that high on Spencer Brown. I am high on Spencer. Ignore me. Moving on. I don't even know where I'm at. Carolina Panthers.
I guess this is where we're seeing like a difference in our how we evaluate, especially for the secondary right now. Because I very highly value athleticism in the secondary.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I think that goes with DeMar Hamlin.
Yeah, I like DeMar. I love his athleticism. It's just his processing. I don't know. I don't know if he's going to be an NFL caliber safety. That was my big worry with him in Buffalo.
So here's a draft I know you really like, or at least you did as soon as the draft was over. So I'm going to let you talk about this first.
It is my number one class. Spoiler, we have a lot left to go, but I am telling you right now, this was my favorite draft class. Every round, they got a starter, in my opinion. At least someone they could start. I love it. Let's jump right into it. Every single pick. There was one pick I didn't like. Two, but one. Everyone from J.C. Horn, which I thought everyone dogged on him at pick 8 over Surtain. I thought he was a great pick. Fits the Carolina mold perfectly. Terrence Marshall, love it. First round talent in 59. Brady Christensen, great tackle. Chuba Hubbard, Davion Nixon, all of them. But my favorite pick has to be Keith Taylor, the corner out of Washington. I know I didn't grade him the highest, but he is going to fit that Carolina defense perfectly. They're going to be a physical man defense. They're going to ask their corners to press a lot. He is going to either play in the nickel, outside. He can play anywhere. He could even probably play some deep safety if you really need him to, which they're kind of hurting in that situation. Let him play anywhere. He's going to be good. He'll be probably a fourth corner day one, and I guarantee you by the end of the season he'll be seeing significant playing time. Least favorite pick, probably Tommy Tremble, the tight end out of Notre Dame. It just didn't make sense. Tight end is a need, but he's definitely not that upper echelon of tight end. And is he really going to even fight for starting spot this year? Probably not. It's going to be Ian Thomas. Good tight end, but definitely could have gone somewhere better in the third round.
All right. Yeah, this Carolina Panthers draft class was honestly one of my favorites. You got 4 potential first-round caliber players in J.C. Horn, Terrence Marshall, Brady Christensen, and Davion Nixon, in my opinion.
Yep.
My favorite pick, you guys already probably know my draft crush, one of my biggest draft crushes throughout the year, Terrence Marshall, the wide receiver out of LSU. He's my favorite pick of the bunch.
Yep.
They got him in the late second. No, not the late second. The early second. No, it was the late second. Yeah, pick 27.
Yep.
I don't know how he fell that far. It reminds me of a. I'm not saying they're a similar player, but DK Metcalf kind of fallen while other receivers were taken ahead of him.
Yep.
My favorite pick. My least favorite pick, I'm going to go with the long snapper, Thomas Fletcher. Not a fan of taking specialists in the draft at all. Not a fan of using that draft pick on them. So they got an F grade, and it really brought down their draft grade because of it.
I can see it, but I'll play devil's advocate on that pick. I personally think they did such a good job in the 1 through 5, and even the 6, that, hey, why spend the extra $100,000 in guaranteed money in undrafted free agency and risk not getting him and get your guy? You already had a banger draft. Just go get your long snapper. If you think he's going to play 15 years, who cares? But yeah, that's why I didn't really care. I just gave it a normal C plus and moved on. The Chicago Bears. The Bears.
Oh, Bears.
I love the Bears class, and I think your grading system showed that you liked it too.
Yes.
Yes. I'll let you go first on the Bears.
All right. So the Bears, they took Justin Fields. Congratulations to the Bears. We all know how I felt about that during the draft. Yeah, this was a solid class all the way around. And another A- draft class, a 3.5, right below the Baltimore Ravens. I'm going to go my favorite pick. You know, I could easily go Justin Fields or Tevin Jenkins. It's the highest grade, but I'm going to go with Kyrus Tonga Jr., the interior defensive lineman out of BYU in the 7th round. I thought it was a phenomenal pick. You can easily plug him in and play nose tackle right away, and he has pass rush development that he could honestly develop that pass rush and be a really good interior pass rusher. Not a great one, but you're going to get a great nose tackle right out the gate and good potential for a pass rusher. Oops, I just did something. Okay, there we go. I'm back. For my least favorite pick, I mean, I gotta go with Larry Borum, the guard out of Missouri. I wasn't a fan of that pick. This draft was so deep at interior offensive line and offensive line in general. I thought it was a reach. I had him as a UDFA, a priority UDFA.
Yeah, Lord, yeah, that definitely was a weird pick. Chicago Bears, I gave him an A overall. I really liked what they did. Again, the Fields, Jenkins, you could rave about that all day. But I think if I'm going to really give a favorite pick, I'm actually going to go Khalil Herbert. Round 6, pick 217. Listen, man, I know he was your guy. He is just a freak with the ball, man. And Chicago is in need of a running back that could take over a game. David Montgomery, good running back. But he's not something that teams are going to fear. And I feel like Khalil Herbert has that ability that he can, when you see him get the ball, he has a chance to take it to the house almost every play. And you have to be able to game plan around that. So I think the Bears, if that offensive line and Tevin Jenkins can get going, I think Herbert's going to really look good. Least favorite pick? I don't really have a least favorite pick. I guess I'll go on Thomas Graham, the corner out of Oregon. He's okay. I didn't have that high of a grade on him. I had a C+. He's okay. I had him as a mid to late 7th. He's not going to go out there. He's not going to take over the game. But he's a special teams player probably, and he may sneak onto the field in some dime packages. It's a 6th round pick. They did good.
Yeah. The Cincinnati
The
Bengals.
Bungles. I need to take this one first because
All right,
I
go
need to
ahead.
rag on this draft class. Everyone is parading this class. They're saying, oh, this is a good class. No. Listen, they got a great player in the first. Don't let the B next to Jamar Chase's name scare you. All right, Jamar Chase, great player. Did I think he's a better fit for them over Sewell? No. There's no point in buying a Lamborghini and then not buying insurance. Sorry. Yeah, they get a nice Lamborghini. They just don't have State Farm yet. So
You call Aaron Rodgers.
I would actually call that probably my least favorite pick, just in terms of that was dumb. Favorite pick, obviously Trey Hill at round 6, pick 190. Great value. I had him as a late 3rd, I believe, early 4th. I love that value. You could also make a case for Joseph Osai out of Texas. I had him as a pretty highly touted player. I even went kicker. I didn't understand that. I didn't like the Bengals class nearly as much as anyone else. I ended up giving it a C+.
Yep, I gave the Bengals draft grade a 2.92. My favorite pick, I'm gonna have to piggyback off you and say Trey Hill, but a close second for me would be Cameron Sample out of Tulane, the edge rusher.
Yep.
My least favorite pick, even though it's an A, I gave it an A. It's got to be Jamar Chase.
Yeah.
You could have easily gone Penei Sewell there, gotten a franchise tackle for Joe Burrow, and then in the second round, you still could have gone Jackson Carman if you wanted to, since he's going to play guard. Or if you really wanted an LSU wide receiver, Terrence Marshall was still on the board. That would have been the dream scenario. Penei Sewell, then Terrence Marshall in the second. Isn't how they went. Isn't how they worked out. My least favorite pick, even though I absolutely love Jamar Chase.
Oh, yeah.
I think he's a generational wide receiver.
And that's the thing. And there's a good chance Jamar Chase goes out there, they get a tackle in a year. Hopefully Burrow can escape an injury this year and makes us look like a bunch of idiots in 10 years. I hope it happens. I just think right now you're putting Burrow at even more of a risk than he already is playing for Cincinnati. And Jonah Williams is your best offensive lineman. That's scary.
Actually, there's an argument to be made that Brian O'Neill or even Trey Hill already is their best offensive lineman.
You could easily make that argument. Easily. I mean, that offensive line is just disgusting. Cleveland. I'll let you go first because
All right.
Because yeah.
So the Cleveland Browns got a B+ grade from me with a GPA of 2.96. Greg Newsome pick. I was not a fan of this pick at the time. I'm still not the biggest fan of it now. Obviously, with injury concerns between him and Caleb Farley, I would have easily taken Caleb Farley. Both of them are good corners with injury concerns, but Caleb Farley is just that much better, in my opinion. Is that much more dynamic of an athlete, and has only played the position for 1 year, and has still shown so much more potential than Greg Newsome to me has. So I gave that a B. My favorite pick, I know I'm going to let you have that one as your favorite pick. So I'm going to go with Richard LeCounte, the safety out of Georgia. He was one of my first college players of the week. Back when we used to do those for a little while. May have to get back into them sooner or later, depending on how it goes.
We will.
I gave him an A. My least favorite pick, I'm going to have to go with Tony Fields, the linebacker. He's okay. He's just not the linebacker. I mean, they got Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah at linebacker, but he's just tiny. He's a tiny linebacker.
5'10".
He doesn't really give you much. He doesn't really give you much that you already don't have. I don't like the pick. I gave it a C.
He's more of a special teamer, really. So
yeah.
Browns. Wow, I wonder who my favorite player in this class is. B+. Of course, I got to give it to JOK. Listen, man, he was my favorite player personally in the draft. Love his athleticism. He is going to bring so much danger to this Browns defense. They're missing a playmaker in the middle of the field, and you saw it against the Chiefs. They were just picking them apart in the middle of the field. They couldn't stop it, and so I think that's what JOK. He's going to be put in the middle. Second, third down, first down. You may not see him, or you may see him playing box safety. You may see him playing outside in the slot, wherever. He is going to make an impact day one. I can't wait to watch JOK. Least favorite player of the draft? Uh, I guess I'll kind of go in and talk Tommy Togaya at interior D line at Ohio State. I just I didn't even have him graded. It's the fourth round. There was a lot of other needs they could have gone. They could have double dipped at receiver. They could have gone offensive line there. I just didn't care for the pick. He's a good interior D lineman, but you don't really need D line. Your D line is stacked, so he's just kind of sit there. Just not a big pick on him.
Ooh,
Dallas
the Dallas
Cowboys.
Cowboys.
the most, the first 2 days were atrocious, and then the third day they just decided to just go like that. I'll let you take it first because your grade is awful.
Yeah, Dallas Cowboys. I gave them a C plus, GPA of 2.22. This was by far the team I gave the most Fs to. I gave them 3 Fs. The 3 Fs being Micah Parson, Deshaun Wright, and Josh Ball. 2 of them for obvious character concerns, and I just think they were a bit overrated. Deshaun Wright, I'll go with my least favorite pick in terms of actual, like, looking at the player themselves, not just the character.
Yeah.
I don't see. He's tall, he's lengthy, but he's completely unathletic. I do not think he'll be a great corner. I do not understand the pick whatsoever. My favorite pick, I'm going to save your guy for you. I'm going to take my guy here and go with Jabril Cox, the linebacker at LSU.
Let's go.
One of my favorite players in this class and the best coverage backer in the class, in my opinion. Cowboys got a steal. They drafted 2 linebackers, so who knows what we'll see with Jalen Smith and Leighton Vander Esch here in the future. We'll see what happens.
Unless they really plan to just run 4-3 for 75% of their plays, yeah, we're in for a doozy. No one even really plays base 4-3 anymore in the league. Anyway, it's dumb. The more you think about the 2 linebacker picks, it's dumb. It gets dumber the more you think about it. I'm gonna go least favorite pick. I have to nag on it. What are you doing with Josh Ball? Okay, if you really believe in Micah Parsons, good for you. All right, I don't think he's the player in the first. I don't think he fits your team. But if you believe it, Jerry Jones, goddamn it, good for you. But what the hell are you doing drafting Josh Ball at pick 4, 138? What are you doing? His character concerns are a lot more prominent than Micah's. All right, his play style definitely doesn't help his. He's not going to make up for his character concerns by being a top 10 tackle in the league because, well, he's never going to be that. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
He's not even going to start for you because you have Tyron Smith and Lyle Collins. So he's just going to sit. I mean, it was a waste of a pick. It didn't make sense. It's like he just was throwing a dart at a dartboard. It made no sense. Obviously, favorite pick, Israel Mukuamu. You could even go Quinton Bohanna. Both were draft crushes of me. Love both those guys. Bohanna is going to be a disgusting nose tackle for somebody, even if he doesn't play for Dallas, which who knows with Dallas, it's a possibility. And Israel Mukuamu is going to be a freak corner safety. If you want to put him 25 pounds on him and play a linebacker, who knows? We've seen crazier things. So it sucked because the 4th through 7th is, beside Josh Ball, is a great draft. Cox, Fehoko, Bohanna, Mukuamu, and Farnick, great draft. It's just I don't like anything they did in the day 1 and 2 at all.
Fair.
The Denver
Broncos.
The Denver Broncos. I'll let you go because
we have much different grades on this.
Very. I do not like this class. I'm so sorry. I hate this class. I hate it. Everything about this class, besides 2 or 3 players, is awful for me. But let's jump in for you.
So, as I've said before, I didn't grade based off players that were still available on the board.
Yeah.
So Patrick Surtain, we all know how I felt about that pick at the time. But it's an A for me. I gave the Denver Broncos a B plus with a 3.4 GPA. It's hard for me to pick my favorite pick because I absolutely loved the middle of our draft. I'm going to go with Baron Browning. Actually, is probably my favorite pick. I think he's like the 97th percentile in terms of athleticism at the linebacker position since like 1960. It puts him in like the top 50 or something like that. This dude is a freak athlete. He plays both inside linebacker and edge. Fangio's obviously going to settle in more at inside linebacker. You probably won't see him too much year one, but the potential with this kid is just off the charts. And with Fangio being a linebacker guru, I see nothing but bright lights ahead for Baron Browning.
All right.
Least favorite pick. Uh, as much as I love you, Patrick Surtain, I'm going to go with Patrick Surtain just because you passed on Justin Fields. You still get an A because you're a great player, and you're at a position that we will need after this year because we have 2 people on 1-year deals at corner. So you still get an A. You're still a great player. You could be a Hall of Famer, but if Justin Fields turns out to be a franchise quarterback you can win 1 or 2 Super Bowls with, I'd rather go with Justin Fields.
Yep. I'm not gonna dog on the Surtain pick. I gave it a D+ for the same reasons. I love the player. I think he's going to be a great corner in the league. Nothing against Surtain. I think it's unfair to dog on Surtain because you guys didn't get Fields. But I still gave it D+ because you passed on a quarterback for a corner. Sorry, I have to. Looking at the other parts, this is the problem with the draft for me. I like the Baron Browning pick. B- I gave it. I did not like their day 3. The day 2, I could get behind in some aspects. The day 3, I thought was just bad. I didn't like it. I didn't like what they did with Seth Williams. I didn't think he was a great player. Jamar Johnson's a good player. He was probably my favorite pick. I do like what Jamar Johnson can bring, and I think he's going to be a great player. I just don't see the value in some of these picks, especially the Javonte Williams pick. For a round 2 running back who just barely missed the first somehow, I didn't see Javonte Williams being that guy. He's a good back, but with the running back depth as good as it was, to trade up in the second for Javonte Williams when there was so many other needs on the board, just didn't sit right with me. I think Denver, this class is a boomer bust. It's either going to be a great class that has 3 or 4 long-term starters, or it's going to be a hey, don't worry about anything else after the first. We got Surtain, and that was about it. So we'll see. Hopefully I'm wrong, but
Let's see. At least day 1, we got at least 2 or 3 starters day 1 at least.
Probably, yeah. Depends on safeties, where they play.
Yeah.
What you guys plan to do with Caden Stearns. Caden Stearns could play linebacker, honestly.
I don't see that.
You don't think?
No. I think they're gonna have him at safety, maybe outside corner a little bit if they get that far into the depth chart yet again.
I was thinking of Jacoby. Give me a minute. I was thinking of Jacoby Stevens. I'll retract that linebacker. I was thinking of Jacoby. Give me a break. I was thinking of Jacoby. Okay.
Wrong college and wrong player.
I don't know why I thought you were talking about Jacoby, but that's what it sounded like.
We didn't even draft Jacoby Stevens.
I know. I don't know why I heard Jacoby Stevens in it. It's one of the Detroit Lions. I'm going to talk first because I honestly love the Lions class. I thought they had a great vision for what they wanted in this draft, and they just nailed it. They want to be a complete mean team. They just want to beat you down in the trenches. And they planned for it. Penei Sewell fell in their lap. A+. Levi Onwu's a rookie. I was really low on this pick beforehand, and then I watched him, and I'm like, well, this is a dumb to give him a C because he's great. Aleem McNeil, solid. Ife Tuimoloau, amazing. He's my favorite pick of this draft. Just a solid weapon on the defense. He's someone you can put opposite of Okudah. I don't know why I almost forgot that. And he's going to be a great outside corner duo. The defense is definitely a year or 2 away. Dan Campbell needs more time to put more of his players in, filter out that awful Matt Patricia era. But, hey, I'm all for it, man. It's smash mouth football, and it's going to be fun to watch.
Yeah, I definitely agree. This is also a class I really liked.
Sage Surratt, undrafted. I had him as a 4th round receiver. Sage Surratt just chilling there and undrafted. I'm sorry, man. That's a steal too.
I gave the Detroit Lions a B plus with a GPA of 3.3. They had 3 A's, well, 1 A, 2 A pluses. My favorite pick, I'm gonna go with Amon-Ra St. Brown, just purely off the fact that if you look at that Lions wide receiver core, you got Tyrell Williams and Brashad Perriman as your top 2 options.
Hmm.
I wish they would have gotten a little bit more heavy at receiver. They only got one in Amon-Ra St. Brown, who I like. He's not the greatest, but I definitely like him. I'll give him that A. My least favorite pick has to be Derek Barnes. Um, he's a 4th round pick. I have him as a, probably late 7th priority UDFA. He's a special teamer.
Yep.
He's a special teamer. I don't see the value there in the 4th round at all.
Yeah, I agree. Ooh, the Packers. The Green Bay Packers. I'll let you take this one first.
All right, the Packers. I gave the Packers a grade of a B with a 2.97 GPA. I absolutely loved their 2 corner picks of Eric Stokes and Shamar John Charles. I think we have a different opinion on Eric Stokes. I might go back to, I don't know if you did yours on positional value or just how we
We'll talk
value.
about it. You'll
defensive
understand.
backs.
It's not against Stokes. I'll promise. It's not against Stokes.
But yeah, my favorite pick. I think just value wise will be Shamar John Charles or Kylan Hill. I absolutely love Kylan Hill, the value there in the 7th, even though I don't think you'll really get any playing time except to be at 3rd down back.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna go with my least favorite pick from the Green Bay Packers draft class. I'm gonna go with their 2nd round pick, Josh Myers.
I knew it. I know you can't see on my screen, but I was guessing. I've been guessing who you're going with, and I was just circling Josh Myers. I was like,
I had him in my top 10 interior offensive lineman, but the 2nd round, I had him more 4th, 5th round kind of caliber. He's high upside, but 2nd round with your 2nd round pick, especially with some of the receivers on the board,
Creed Humphrey on the board.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Landon Dickerson was on the board as well.
Yeah.
That was just a dumb pick.
Yeah, I agree with you. I gave the Green Bay Packers a whopping D plus. Listen, the Eric Stokes pick I have to address. I love Eric Stokes' potential. He is a freak athlete. He's got every athletic tool that you need in a corner. But you have a quarterback who is pissed off that you have not done anything for him for the past few years. So what do you do on draft night after this huge story? You've been getting just hammered all night. What do? You draft a corner who I think a lot of people kind of had as a mid-second, late second. I like Stokes, but is he a first-round talent? I don't know about that. And then you kind of go into the 2nd round. Josh Myers, like you said, yeah, positional value, yeah, you need a Josh Myers, but do you need him over a Creed Humphrey, Landon Dickerson, wide receiver? They finally got him a slot receiver in Amari Rodgers, but whoop-de-doo. Too late, sorry. Favorite pick, I guess I'll go to Darryl Slayton out of Florida. I like him. Good player. He fits the need. He's someone you can put alongside Kenny Clark, and there's not too much. The different skill sets works nice. Least favorite, obviously, I gotta go Eric Stokes. You have a pissed off quarterback. You make your quarterback happy. I don't care if he's acting like an asshole or not. You help your quarterback, and I don't think they did that this class.
I'm not even sure if picking a wide receiver there would have really helped, honestly.
Probably not, but you have to at least try. I mean, you got to at least put something on your bulletin board. Say, hey, at least we tried. That Eric Stokes pick just felt like a slap in the face to Rodgers.
The Houston Texans. Do you want to go first?
Yeah, because this will be quick. They didn't have any picks. They had 5 picks. I gave them a C plus because what is there to grade? I mean, there's really not much. I like the guys they got. Favorite pick, I think we're going to be the same on this. It's probably Brevin Jordan. Good H-back. Does he have the skill set and the size to play tight end? He's going to need to be worked around. He's gonna need a season. He's talent, which is more to say than anything else they have on the Houston Texans right now. Davis Mills was weird. I didn't understand it. Garrett Wallow is a pretty weird linebacker to take in the 5th. I wasn't huge on Garrett Wallow. I guess that'll be my least favorite. The class is just mediocre because they didn't really have anything. So what can you say beside ew?
Yeah, Houston Texans I gave a B with a GPA of 2.9. My favorite pick is Davis Mills. That's probably something opposite we have. You're not going to get Deshaun Watson back.
Probably not, no.
And other than that, you're starting your quarterbacks that you have rostered. I know they have, what's his name, that played for the Broncos last year. I already forgot his name.
Tyrod Taylor.
No, they have Tyrod Taylor, and they have, what's his name? I don't remember his name already. That just goes to show
former Bengals
you.
backup. Yes, I know who you're talking about, but his name has escaped my memory.
Yeah,
Jeff
Davis
Driscoll.
Mills. He was
Jeff Driscoll.
Jeff Driscoll. Thank you.
There you go.
Thank you. Yeah, you have Jeff Driscoll and Tyrod Taylor. Yeah, Davis Mills is my favorite pick for them.
Yep.
Here's my second favorite mid-round quarterback behind Kellen Mond and in front of Kyle Trask.
We'll get to the Trask pick later. Okay, we'll get to the Trask pick because
Mainly based off the tools. He had some injury issues. But I like his tools. He was a bit inconsistent at Stanford, mainly because of his injury issues. But you're not going to get Deshaun Watson back. Might as well use your first pick on a quarterback. Take that shot in the dark because you need one no matter what. My least favorite pick of the draft for them was Garrett Wallow, the linebacker. He's a special teamer. He doesn't have great length at linebacker either, and he's not great at open field tackling. So I don't see the purpose in Garrett Wallow.
He's a gap filler, really. I mean, that's all he is. And there's nothing against that. I mean, plenty of gap fillers have had 8 to 10 year careers. It's just, it's not exciting and it's not really necessary.
Yeah.
Indianapolis Colts. Interesting. I'll take it again. Why not?
All right.
I actually liked a lot of their picks, and then I was indifferent on a lot of their picks. Kwity Paye, great pick. I was all for it even on draft night. Some people were even a little iffy on it. Oh, his college number. I don't care what his sack number was in college. College is gone. Great edge rusher. I'm high on Deo O'Day. I'm not even going to pronounce it. The edge out of Andy. Kylan Granson, a very athletic tight end in the 4th. Sean Davis, good. Ellinger was interesting. He's going to be, I don't even know what he's going to be. But I think my favorite pick, I'm not going to go with Kwity Paye as much as I like the pick. I'm going to go Mike Strachan, the wide receiver out of Charleston. Listen, he is not a great route runner. But he's got great size. And he's a jump ball. Go up, you're 6'5". Just put your hands up, and Carson Wentz should be able to find him. I think he's going to be a good receiving option. I think he's going to surprise some people by probably making the 53. I don't think a lot of people are going to even expect that. He's going to make the 53 as one of their last receivers. I think he's going to work his way up. I'm high on Strachan. Least favorite pick, I guess I'll go Ellinger. He sucks. Move on. All right, I'm sorry. He sucks. All right, he's a Georgia Tech quarterback, and Georgia Tech quarterbacks aren't good. All right, or Georgia Tech style quarterback. I know he didn't go to Georgia Tech, but he would be a Georgia Tech quarterback. Okay, I'm sorry. Anyway, don't get me started on Ellinger.
For the Colts, I gave him a B, GPA of 3.1. My favorite pick was Sean Davis, the safety out of Florida. One of my draft classes, absolutely love his range. I believe he was completely underrated throughout the process, and it seems like the Colts maybe agreed with me there because most places I saw had him as like a 7th to priority undrafted free agent. But yeah, least favorite pick, I could go with Kylan Granson if I wanted to, but that dude has a lot of potential as a receiving tight end. He needs to obviously work on his craft a lot. He has a lot to work on, but I think the potential is there, so I can't, even though I gave him the worst grade, I cannot give him my least favorite pick. I'm going to go with Sam Ehlinger as well. To me, he's a less talented, dumber Drew Lock.
Don't insult Drew Lock like that.
And less
Okay.
tall. Less taller Drew Lock.
Okay. Listen, Sam Ellinger is a fullback. Okay. Moving on, because I could rant about Ellinger being garbage for 25 minutes. Yeah, I don't. I'm not. Again, the Colts. I think they nailed it, man. Their first 3 picks were great. I like the Granson pick in terms of just pure potential. I mean, he's easily one of those guys that can emerge from the mid rounds to become one of the better tight ends in the league. In my opinion, he's got that type of potential. It's just he also could be one of those tight ends that you look at the draft in 2 years and you're like, who is that? All right, because some tight ends just can't make that change to the NFL.
Yeah.
The Jaguars. I'll let you go first
Jaguars.
because I'm gonna have a rant on it.
Yeah,
I'll let you go,
I know you will.
Jacksonville.
I might just take your favorite player just so you don't get that.
No,
wrong.
I'll just copy you. You know, you think you're above that? No. I'll let you go
Jacksonville
first.
Jaguars, I gave them a B, a GPA of 2.91. They had a great draft. Walker Little has to be my favorite pick. Best pass protector in the entire draft class. Could have easily been a first-round pick if it wasn't for his injury and then opt out. Dude's just got the highest floor of probably just below Penei Sewell in this class, and is by far the best pass protector at A1.
Yep.
In terms of my least favorite pick,
Oof.
I gave Travis Etienne an F,
We all know.
but
why you
I don't
did
even
that.
think that's my least favorite pick. That impacted their draft grade a lot, but I think I'm going to go with my least favorite pick here is Luke Farrell, the tight end out of Ohio State. I don't even think this guy's rosterable, and
No.
you took him in the 5th round?
Yeah.
I don't understand the pick. As much as I don't like the Travis Etienne pick and think it was a terrible pick, at least it brings some value, and I think he's a great running back, a first-round caliber running back. Well, first-round caliber for me.
We all know what you mean.
But yeah, Luke Farrell, definitely my least favorite pick here.
Okay. Jacksonville Jaguars. My favorite pick is obviously Trevor Lawrence. No, I'm not that bad. Obviously, the Walker Little pick was great. I gave Etienne a D+ because this was before the news about what Urban Meyer was doing really broke. And I have to talk about this. This is the rant part. It's not even the part I think you were expecting. You have James Robinson, who had 1,400 yards.
Yep.
You have Carlos Hyde, who, in my opinion, is a great change of pace back. You can give him the ball 5-7 times a game. He may even get 25 yards off of it. Great change of pace. Why are you drafting a running back in the first? And then you draft a running back in the first and then say, hey, we want you to go also flex into the slot. When we already have a player like that we just drafted who's better at the slot than you, but go play slot so we can get you on the field more because we really shouldn't have drafted you. Have a great day. It makes no sense.
Pretty much that's how it went.
Because you have to have your first-round pick somewhere on the field. And I'm sorry, but he's not going to be taking every running back snap because they want to give Carlos Hyde in the ball and they want to give Robinson the ball. It makes no sense. It's just a clusterfuck. I have to curse. I'm sorry. It's just a mess. But my favorite pick.
Not gonna get that from me.
Favorite pick. Sorry, Jalen Camp out of Georgia Tech. I've talked him out a little bit on the podcast before, and we weren't live streaming day 3, and I'm just watching the draft. I'm playing Overwatch, just chilling, and I look over at the TV and I see Jalen Camp. Now I've been gassing him up for a while. He's a freak athlete. He might be the best pure athlete in this class behind a couple of the corners. I mean, he benched 30-something reps on the bench. He ran a 4.29. He's 6'3". Freak athlete. It's just he had no college production because he plays for Georgia Tech, which sucks. But amazing player. They even got Dylan Moses in the UDFAs and Tim Jones, Southern Miss. I see you. Great. I like the pick. Again, least favorite had to be the Etienne pick. I just can't deal with it's not even Etienne's fault, man. He's a good player. He just doesn't deserve to be picked and treated as a slot receiver when he's a running back. It's just not his game. So, but Urban Meyer, man, step it up. You did good at drafting Jalen Camp. Make sure he makes the roster. But other than that, yeah. Anyway.
The Kansas City Chiefs.
The Chiefs. I'll let you go first
You-
on the Chiefs.
My grade on the Chiefs is so weird.
C
'Cause you
C
look at-
C C 3.35. That is really
Yeah.
weird.
Yeah, you see that. It's like, how did that happen? I honestly have no clue. It's just how it worked out. B plus with a 3.35. Only 2 A's, the rest are C's.
Yeah.
Don't ask me how. It just worked out that way. But yeah, my favorite pick has to be Trey Smith. Trey Smith, man, I had him graded like second, third round caliber guard. He drops all the way to what, the sixth or
Yep.
seventh because of
Some
a little
stupid
bit of heart issue. I
heart
think it was
issue,
just a
yeah.
heart issue. Yeah, and yeah, there's nothing you really can't say. That's just a big miss on everyone else in the league. My least favorite pick, I could keep going on the tight end direction because this tight end class was terrible. I don't really like any of the tight ends outside Kyle Pitts. You can make an argument that any tight end picked was a terrible pick. But
Yeah, I agree with
I'm not
that.
gonna go with Joshua Kando, even though he's my lowest graded, because he was a 5-star prospect. He has that potential. He just never produced. So, and Chiefs loves those guys. The Chiefs the Chiefs love those kind of guys. They love those former 5-stars that maybe didn't produce. They can hopefully train them up and get some steals out of them. I'm gonna have to go with Nick Bolton, their first pick out of Missouri. I didn't like this pick. I don't think he's great in coverage. He's not a great athlete. He doesn't have great length. You know, he's a average tackler. He's a good thumper, I guess. I just don't see the value here, especially with your first pick in the draft.
Yeah.
I give him credit for addressing a huge position in need at linebacker because they got absolutely killed at linebacker during the Super Bowl. Shout out to my predictions for the Super Bowl episode.
But yeah.
But yeah, that was
Yeah,
I
it
did not
was-
like
It
that
was
pick.
bad. Yeah. The Chiefs. I actually gave them an A minus. I love the class. I'm higher on Nick Bolton than you are. I think Bolton is going to be able to tighten his coverage up. Joshua Kando, man, he is just a pure athlete and nothing else, man. He's going to bring you so much athleticism off the edge, which is what they need. But I think my favorite pick is Creed Humphrey in round 2. He shouldn't have been there. It's that simple. He's a first-round talent. I think a lot of guys had first-round grades on him. He's going to come in. He's going to start at center day one, and he is going to absolutely play lights out. It's what Creed Humphrey has always done in his career. It's just the NFL. Any reports on his size, strength, stupid. It was stupid. I don't want to hear it. Packers passed on him. It was dumb. Great pick for the Chiefs, and I hate the Chiefs. Patrick Mahomes said ow, and he has 5 new offensive linemen. That's impressive. Hey, Packers, take notes over there, man. Take notes. Least favorite pick, I guess I'll go Cornell Powell, wide receiver out of Clemson. He's okay. It's Cornell Powell. I mean, whatever.
Yeah.
Jalen Camp's better. Moving on.
I'd agree with that, honestly.
Jalen, just a pure athlete, man. Just give him a shot, man. Just let him run. Just run for it. Just let him run, and he's going to do good things for you. The Raiders. I need to go first because
All right.
we have different grade. I haven't looked at your Raiders grade. Yeah, okay, I need to go first. I hate this class. I hate it. I despise this class. It's terrible. Awful. I think it's my worst. I think it's the only F I gave. It's the only F I gave. I think I gave everyone else at least a D. He's awful. The draft's awful. Alex Leatherwood is a second, third round talent. They picked him at pick 17. Trevor Moring, first round talent on a lot of boards. I don't think he's that good. I don't think he has a position in the NFL. I don't think he's a traditional deep safety. I think he's more of a slot corner. Malcolm Kuntz is okay, the edge out of Buffalo, but I don't see where he fits in the scheme. Divine Diablo, another safety. Shocker, it's not their last one either. He's more of a
Another
linebacker.
box safety.
Exactly. He's gonna be forced to play linebacker.
After already having your starting safeties be Carl Joseph.
That's what I'm saying. And then you think it's like Gruden couldn't help himself because then in the fourth he's like, I need safety still, and he goes for a third safety. I don't know if they're planning to go full freaking Georgia Tech college ball, throws 9 defensive backs out there, and then rush 1 and then keep a linebacker. I don't know what they're doing, but it makes no sense. And then you look at the rest. I mean, Nate Hobbs is a good corner, I guess. Not really. He was more of a Lovey Smith scheme fit. And then James Morrissey is okay. I hate it. I can't even have a favorite player. It would be Nate Hobbs. Yeah, it's Nate Hobbs. Like, okay. And then the least favorite pick is literally everything else. Sorry, it's an awful class. And Mike Mayock, if you can be a TV analyst, it does not mean you can be a GM. Lesson learned. Because it's bad, man. It's bad. It's bad. I could go off on that class for an hour. It's so bad.
This is also one of my least favorite classes. You'll definitely see where it ranks at the very end when I reveal the top 5 worst. Yeah, my favorite game was C+, which is one of the lower grades in this class, 2.35. My favorite pick was Tyree Gillespie. He was the highest graded player I had in the entire College of Missouri for this draft class.
What an accomplishment.
Yeah.
what an accomplishment.
Really, I gave him that because I really like his athleticism. I think he has the potential to play that deep safety that the Raiders desperately lack. I don't think he's going to get there year 1, maybe year 2, but even then is kind of iffy. But I definitely think he has that potential if you get him some good coaching. Malcolm Kuntz, I really like the player, not the pick that they picked him with. I had him as about 6th round pick, 5th, 6th round pick maybe, and they took him in the 3rd.
Yeah, I mean, and they already have Clelin Ferrell and Max Crosby, so I don't know if they're just planning on just rotating them every play. I have no idea.
Yeah, every pick in this class besides Tyree Gillespie to me was a terrible pick. Maybe Nate Hobbs was okay. But yeah, my least favorite picks are by far Alex Leatherwood, just based off value alone. I know they got rid of their whole line, but drafting a late 3rd talent, early 4th, in my opinion, in the middle of the 1st round, no, absolutely not. Divine Diablo, another box safety. Really, we're doing this again? Absolutely not.
Yeah, and and I told you, it's like Gruden just can't help himself. Like he did it last year where they drafted another 2 safeties and they still had Carl Joseph, and it's like, dude, stop drafting safeties. Okay, there are other positions on the defense and the offense that don't have a big S next to them. Okay. Anyway, moving on. I can't.
Yep, Morrissey was also a terrible pick to me. He's at best a special teamer. I mean, I'm sorry, I said that wrong. He's at best a practice squad player. That's what I meant to say.
It's just beyond me, man. It's beyond me. Anyway, moving on. That draft's only one of 2 that gives me a stomach pain. It's like, I hate it. The Chargers. I'll let you go first since I just still ranted even after.
All right, Chargers. Honestly, I did not think this would grade out at the way it graded out. I thought it graded out higher, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
Just based off, what I remember from the class. I gave him a B-, grade point average of 2.8. Rashawn Slater A+, Asante Samuel A+. And then you get into the later rounds of the mid-grade rounds of the draft. It's more average. That's why I pulled the grade down so much.
Yeah.
But favorite pick, Asante Samuel Jr., 100% to me. I could easily go Rashawn Slater as well. Can play all 5 positions on the offensive line. The offensive line was the worst in the league by far last season. But I'm going to go with Asante Samuel. He was my 2nd favorite corner behind Patrick Surtain. If Caleb Farley was healthy, he'd be my 3rd favorite corner. Asante Samuel would be. My least favorite pick, I'm going to go with Trey McKitty, the tight end out of Georgia. Again, it's another tight end pick. This tight end class was terrible.
Poor tight ends and corners, man.
You're just really grasping at straws when you're drafting a tight end in this class. I'm not going to say much about it.
But to be fair, you're grasping at straws when you're drafting a tight end, period. They are, in my opinion, they're, from what I've seen, the hardest position, and I haven't worked on it, but the hardest position to get from college to the NFL. Because there's just so many things they have to pick up. And a lot of guys, they don't have it. And it sucks, but yeah, poor tight ends. Chargers, I personally love the class. I gave it a B+. The favorite pick, I'm not going to pick
We're actually similar on a lot of our grades that are grading scale worked out differently.
I'm not gonna piggyback off you. I'm gonna go Larry Roundtree. That running back out of Missouri is my favorite pick. I like the pick. He's going to complement Austin Eckler very well. That's what they've been kind of missing in that running back room. They don't really have someone that when they go away from Eckler, they can actually rely on. And I think Roundtree can actually do that. He's also going to provide you some special teams value. So it's a great pick. Least favorite? Chris Rumpf out of Duke. The draft's just really, it's good. I like it. Chris Rumpf is still a good player. I'm not going to round on him. I think I had him in the 6th round. A little bit of a reach, but hey, whatever. I'm not.
Yeah,
gonna,
I think by far this is the closest we had to each other thus far in actual or draft grades for a single team.
Yeah, you are. We are pretty close on it. Yeah. I'm just the Chargers pick was just again they nailed the day 1 and 2, so it's kind of like the opposite of Dallas. Hey, you nailed the first 2 rounds. You can just sit back, draft who you like, and make everyone look like idiots later. It's honestly the best way. The Rams.
All right, the Rams.
The Rams. I'm gonna go with the Rams here first.
All right.
People are gonna dog on the Atwell pick, and you know what? You have every right to bang on it. Every right. But the Rams like their offensive weapons, and I think it's a great fit. I gave it a B- just because I think it was a little bit of a reach, but still a great player. My favorite pick has to be Jacob Harris, the wide receiver out of UCF. Listen, man. Special teams value? Check. Could he actually be one of your better receivers? Check. Is he going to make Stafford look even better? Check. I love the pick. I don't know how he didn't go sooner, man. I was waiting for Jacob Harris's name to be said ever since day 2 started. Lasted till late in the 4th, day 3, or early in the 4th, day 3 pick. Great value. Least favorite pick, I guess I'll go Robert Rochelle, corner out of Central Arkansas. He's an okay corner. It's a corner. There was so many better options still on the board. It was a thing of they kind of felt they needed a nickel/dime corner, and they said, I guess we'll just pick the highest rated corner on the board. I'm not high on him. Who do I know? I'm a big old bumbling idiot. Hey, go get him. I still think the Atwell and Jacob Harris pick has set that offense up to be deadly this year.
All right. Yeah, I gave the Rams a B- a 2.75 here. Atwell, I like the pick. I also don't. I don't really see how he fits into a prominent role in this offense. He's more of a gadget player, which I don't like spending a 2nd round pick on. My favorite pick, I would go Jacob Harris, but you already took him, the Cooper Kupp clone.
Yep.
But I'm gonna go with Bobby Brown, the interior defensive lineman out of Texas A&M. Just great run stuffer. You already got some pass rush being developed, and you could develop that even further. Him playing next to Aaron Donald will be a great help for him. My least favorite pick, I'm gonna go with. It's a hard one. It's between Ernest Brown and Jake Funk. Just because of its name, it was a funky pick.
Funk.
It was a funk of a pick, so I'm gonna go with Jake Funk. Not his biggest fan, especially with those 2 ACLs and tears in the same knee.
I know.
I don't justify that, and I don't like his film as a running back as it is anyway.
He looks more
special
like
teamer.
a practice squad stash, and hope he can somehow get some value in the year. Who knows? Yeah, I didn't understand that pick either. The Miami Dolphins. The Dolphins. We go to the Dolphins. I'll let you go first. This is actually a really good class.
Yeah, I really like this class. I gave it a B+, a GPA of 3.25, exactly at that B+ grade scale. My favorite pick, it's Jalen Phillips. He's my favorite edge in this entire class. He's edge 1 without a doubt if it's not for the concussions.
Yeah.
There's not much more to say about that. They got a fantastic pass rusher there at 18th or 20th overall pick, somewhere over there.
Yep.
Late teens, early 20s. My least favorite pick, I hate to just rag on like these late picks, but I'm gonna go with Garrett Dokes, the running back out of Cincinnati.
Dokes.
I he's a practice squad player at best. I don't see it. I don't
Yeah.
see it. He's yeah. I just
Yeah.
don't see it at all.
Yeah.
He has some carrying issues. His film's great. He's not a great athlete. He doesn't really have anything that he does good, and he kind of has. He's not the best with vision. He's not gonna hit a hole. He's practice squad at absolute
Trent
best.
Richardson glasses in full effect. I mean, yeah, I agree. My favorite pick. It. I have
If
to.
you don't say who,
I
think
have
you're gonna
to
say.
because it's my boy, Liam
Yeah.
Eichenberg.
There you go.
He
There
shouldn't
you
have
go.
been there. I still don't get the size issues. I do not care. Great tackle. He's going to dominate. I can't wait. They have options. They can play him at right tackle if they really believe that's going to be Tua's big blind side. Put him at right. If you think he can play left, he can play either or. He's got that athleticism. He's going to be a power left tackle day one, and it makes Tua look better. And if they believe Tua's the guy, that's what they need to do. Least favorite pick? I'm going to go Hunter Long. Sorry, tight ends. Not a good day for the tight ends today. Out of Boston College. It's just another tight end. And, they have Mike Gesicki. I know they don't really, they are lacking that number 2 tight end, but do you really need one? I mean, you have so many good receivers. You now got Jalen Waddle. Run them 4 wide sets and just go, man. Mike Gesicki don't even really play tight end anyway. He's more of a slot / outside anyway. Just go, man. I like the draft. Jalen Phillips, like you said. They got Javon Holland, too, who was starting to become one of my guys near the end. Just a good pick, good draft. Miami is doing a really good job. And I think Brian Flores deserves a lot of credit for what's going on there. He's really changed that team like that. And there's legit 3 teams in the AFC East that are going to be competing for that first place for the first time in years. It's going to be fun.
Yeah. The Minnesota Vikings. This is another class that I have a hard time finding really a big issue with, in my opinion. I gave him a B+, 3.38 grade. My favorite pick, I'm gonna go with Kellen Mond.
Ooh.
He was one of my
Phil Simms.
college players. Not that much. He was one of my college players of the weeks pretty early on. He's one of the most outside the first round. He is the most toolsy prospect in this class by far. I absolutely love that he gets to sit behind Kirk Cousins for another year or two, and just learn there. I think he has great potential. I think he could do great things in Minnesota. My least favorite pick, if I had to choose, I'm actually not going to pick tight end here because I actually really like the Zach Davidson pick just based off his height, weight, speed, potential, all that kind of stuff. I'm going to go with running back again. I'm going to go try and pronounce this. Kudne Nwangu.
That's pretty close. That's pretty close. I think that's how you say it.
I had him. He's a 7th round running back in my opinion. They took him in the 4th. He's a high weight speed guy. He's got that, but he's very inconsistent. He was never the true back at his college at Iowa State, and he has some ball security concerns with me. And you don't really see him have different sorts of levels of speed in his run. He's just one run, one speed throughout the entire play, and that kind of concerns me because sometimes you need to break it down to make a guy miss or something like that. If he gets an open lane, he's gone. But if he's not in that open lane, he's going to get tackled.
Yeah, I agree. The Minnesota. I actually like this draft a lot. I gave him an A+. I didn't know why. This was a month ago, but looking at it, I do like it. Maybe I wouldn't give it an A+ now. Maybe I would. I still don't think it's above the Panthers draft, which is my number 1, but I love the first 2 picks. Darisaw and Mond. Everyone thinks I'm a Mond hater. I kind of am, but not that much. I like Mond. He's a good guy, and I think he's going to be a good quarterback. Chaz Surratt, love the pick. I had him as one of those guys early on. Wyatt Davis, great. Ninganu, like you say, kind of a concern. But then you really see what they did in the 5th, 6th, and 7th. I love Amir Smith-Marset. That's my favorite pick that isn't one of the popular ones. Marset, big physical speed. Can he run routes? No, not right now. But listen, you got your route runner in Adam Thielen. You got your superstar in Jefferson. Hey, this guy is going to be one of those where when those two are covered, it's a safe, hey, Kirk, just chuck it over there. I think he can get easily 600 yards, and I think he can develop to eventually be Jefferson's partner in crime at number 2. Favorite,
100% agree.
least favorite pick out of this. I don't want to piggyback off you, so I'll go a little different. I'll go Patrick Jones, edge out of Pitt. I had him as like a 5th, 6th round guy. I know he's got some power behind him, and he had some nice production, but production don't really mean much in the NFL. If that was the case, Jalen Ferguson would have been the number 1 overall pick a few years ago. It just doesn't work like that. So he's a good player. I don't think he fits. He doesn't really fit the 4-3 base they play. He's going to have to be a more interior guy in that scheme, and when they do play him out, he can be an edge. But the pick was weird. So I'll give it. But overall, Vikings had a great class, and they even got Ricky Prohl in undrafted. Look at that. Ricky Prohl. The Patriots. Oh, boy. I'll let you go first.
I got to scroll all the way up for this one.
I'll let you go first.
All right. The New England Patriots, I gave them a B- with a grade of 2.65. Mac Jones, I could have gone with a lower grade, to be honest, but, he's an average prospect. I'll give him an average grade. I would have preferred that they probably go, a more valuable position and then taking a more toolsy guy and the mid-rounds.
Yeah.
That was definitely Tyler's preference as well. I'm not going to take your favorite player away from you, so I'm going to go with Cameron McGrone as my favorite player from this class. He was, I think, one of the first 5 of my college players of the week guys to watch.
Yeah.
Absolutely loved him. Still do. Has some injury concerns, and I don't think he's been playing a minicamp, but he's been there.
No, he's from what Mike Reese has said, the Patriots beat reporter. It's more a redshirt year for him. They don't think he's going to be up to speed, and if it is, it's going to be like week 10, 11, and at that point, you might as well just shut him down for the year, let him get 100%, and then go full bore next year. That's what I've heard out of the camp. Go to my draft grades. The dejectedness. Listen, I'm going to even put the face cam on. I'm not even going to look at my grades because, frankly, they don't care.
You want me to do my least favorite player first?
Oh, yeah, sure. Go ahead. Sorry.
I'm going to go with the Missouri player yet again. I'm going to go with Joshua Bledsoe. Joshua Bledsoe out of Missouri. I did not have a draftable grade on him.
No, me neither.
He's a box safety at absolute best, but even that, I don't think he's better than a practice squad player.
No, I agree. All right. I've had a month to sit on this Mac Jones pick. I've had a month to accept it. And I have accepted it, okay? It's still a bad pick in a vacuum. We should have traded up. It wouldn't have cost us that much for a quarterback, for Fields. Nothing against Mac. I hope Mac makes me look like a god dang idiot. I hope he goes out there and he balls out and wins us the Super Bowl this year. It won't happen. I'll get a tattoo if he does. It won't happen. But the pick wasn't there. But enough about Mac. What really bothered me, I think, was what we did in the later rounds. Joshua Bledsoe, like you said. But the one that really bothered me had to be William Sherman. Ew. I didn't know who he was. I didn't know. So I said, you know what? Let me go look at his game film. It wasn't a good chance. And then I looked at Ramondre Stevenson, who's a great power back, but whatever. We don't really need power back, and all it does is make sure Sony Michel is definitely not coming back. Of course, Barmore is my favorite pick because he's the best pick in the class for us. And he was a first-round grade. I thought he should have gone top 15, top 20, and he fell to us in the second. We had to trade up for him. But listen, man, the New England class, Ronnie Perkins is okay. I don't like it. I don't like the Mac Jones pick, and I'm not a believer in Mac. I hope I'm wrong, but man, it hurt. I gave him a B minus, and I think that was pretty generous. It was bad. The Josh Bledsoe pick was bad. So, what can you do?
Right.
Pain.
The New Orleans Saints.
Okay.
The Nolans Saints.
I'm gonna go first because we have I'm actually surprised how low you were on him because I was really low on him, and I didn't know if you were gonna follow in that same thing. I thought you were gonna go higher. I'll be honest, your grades kind of surprised me. I'll save you for a second. All I'm gonna say about this class is that it sucks. Okay. Listen, Peyton Turner, you're probably a really good guy, and I wish I could have a beer with you. But Peyton Turner, you are not a first-round talent. You are not even a second, in my opinion. It didn't make sense. It reeks of Davenport 2.0. That's your edge rush duo now. Is Peyton Turner and Marcus Davenport, and you have Cam Jordan on the side doing all the work. It's scary. The other, and it didn't get much better for him. I mean, Pete Warner, he wasn't even the third. He was the third best linebacker out of Ohio State in this class. Congratulations. And you drafted him in the second. Paulson Adobo, okay, athlete. He's not going to really do much. He's never going to be your second corner. I'm sorry. Ian Book, he's actually my favorite pick out of this class, and I don't even really like Ian Book that much. But Ian Book is Drew Brees 2.0, except he's got Drew Brees' 40-year-old arm already. Listen, man, I don't like the class. Least favorite, I'm not even going to bother because I just don't like the class. I gave it a D minus. I didn't give it an F because the Raiders just sucked a little bit more. It's bad. It's very bad. And no. The Saints draft was bad.
Yeah, the Saints by far got my lowest grade. I'm just gonna spoil that now. They're my lowest graded team. They got a C at a 2.0. So just they almost didn't make the cut. They almost actually got an F somehow. With my grading scale, they almost got an F. Peyton Turner F. Pete Warner C. Paulson Adebo A. That's even questionable. Ian Book F. If I had to go with my least favorite pick, it'd be Peyton Turner, like you said, but instead I'll go with Ian Book. I had him as an undraftable talent. I mean, he's intelligent.
He can win games. He's got that. He's the most winning quarterback in Notre Dame. I like his winningness, but dude, it's Ian Book. I mean, it's Ian Book. So,
if I had to go with my favorite pick, it's honestly, I honestly wouldn't even go with Paulson Adebo, even though I gave him the highest grade. It's just that bad of a class. I might honestly just go Quan Baker just because of his developmental traits that he has. Just because he's extremely athletic and can play inside and outside and can jump. The Quan Baker is my favorite player in the Saints draft class. That's sad.
Yeah,
No offense to Quan Baker. No offense to Quan Baker, but it's
bad, man. The Saints. I remember we didn't really have much of a reaction to Peyton Turner because we were so dead after the first round. But it was such a bad pick, and there's Saints fans defending it, and God bless you, because I don't know how you do it, man. I can't defend that. It's bad. If New England did that, I would have given him an F minus. Actually, you know what? I would have given him an E. You don't even deserve to be graded. It's that bad.
Just null.
The Giants. Let's go the exact opposite. Let's stop looking at the nasty New Orleans thing. Let's look at the Giants. Nice, beautiful class. I'll let you go first because it's beautiful.
All right, the Giants. This is actually one of my more favorite draft classes, especially if you're looking at the top half of the draft. The top half was by far probably my favorite of any team. You got Kadarius Toney, you got Azeez Ojulari, and you got Aaron Robinson. You could have just ended the draft there and would have gotten great draft. Fantastic draft.
Yep.
Then we start getting into the last three picks. I'm like, they're more average. They're more depth. It's like, yeah, it's okay. It's whatever. My favorite pick, Azeez Ojulari, tied for edge one in this class. If it wasn't more realistically edge two, but definitely the best hybrid edge rusher in this class. You could easily flex him into coverage and not have too much of an issue with doing so. My least favorite pick, probably just gonna go another running back. I'm gonna go with Gary Brightwell. Just not a special running back class.
No, it's not.
Just nothing to write home about. Yeah, he's okay. He's a practice squad guy, maybe the last running back on the depth chart. That's pretty much it.
Another thing that makes the running back class look so bad is there's so much running back talent in the league that a lot of these guys are just going to be third, fourth special teamers, and it's just the way it is, and they're going to have to wait for their chances. I love the Giants class. I gave it a big old A. I'm all for it, man. Like you say, Kadarius Toney was one of my draft crushes. I love the pick. They traded back from 11 to 20. They got I think an extra first or something like that. I don't know what they got.
Yeah, from the Bears, they got an extra first for next year.
Hey, do your thing, man, and I'm all for it. I thought they did good. Ojulari, Robinson, great picks. Ellerson Smith, I'm actually pretty high off out of Northern Iowa. He was pretty good. Least favorite, I don't have anyone even below a B. I even liked Brightwell. I guess my least favorite will probably be Rodarius Williams, a corner out of Oklahoma State. He's a 6th-round corner. What do you want? He's not even really going to play. He's a special teamer. So what? If that's your worst pick, you had a good draft. So I'm all for it, and I think the Giants nailed it.
Yeah. Another team that nailed it was the other New York team.
Oh, yeah.
Well, all New York teams had a great draft class, actually.
Oh, yeah.
The Jets, you got my boy. You paid me so much. You got Zach Wilson. I wish the best. My favorite pick, everyone should already know it by now before we even started the podcast. Favorite pick, Zach Wilson. I gave him a B+, 3.275, just above that B+. But yeah, I could have gone with other people that I think they had a great class. I gave him 3 A+. Their worst pick was a C, but other than that, nothing was lower than a B-. The pick that was a C was Jason Pinnock, the corner out of Pittsburgh, and mainly he's just a special teamer. He's a special teamer. He looks the part, but his coverage is terrible.
Yeah.
He's a special teamer at best.
I actually forgot him under mine. He's not even on mine. I don't know why. Obviously, Zach Wilson pick was great. The Vera Tucker trade up was amazing. I loved it. I don't know why I gave it a B. That was stupid. Don't ignore that. Elijah Moore, great. Give him a receiver. But I think my favorite pick is going to be all the way in round 6. Hamza Najiruddin. Hamza, sorry. Before this year, he was regarded as the top safety. And safety, linebacker, whatever. Great player. He can play at multiple positions. The Jets need that Jamal Adams replacement. And I wouldn't say he's going to be that day one, but he's a similar type of player, and I think the franchise is going to quickly love him. And
he's got bigger length.
Yeah, and he can do more than just rush the passer. Great player. I'm all for it. I think he's going to start day one if he's healthy, and I think he's going to make a lot of impact plays on that defense. Least favorite, I guess I'll just kind of chuck it up to Jabian Sherwood out of Auburn. Pick didn't make too much sense. He's more of a deep safety, which is what they need, especially if they have Najiruddin playing more box. But 5th-round pick on an undrafted talent, I'm not that high on him. Their undrafted was pretty good. They got Kenny Yeboah, I know you're really high on, and Hamaclair Rashid out of Oregon State, the edge.
I really liked Hamaclair Rashid as well.
Yeah, I think you had a 5th on him, if I remember from the draft night, something like that.
I actually don't remember.
I know you were high on him.
Yes.
Yeah. The Eagles. The Philadelphia Eagles. I'll be honest. I love their draft. And I really shouldn't, because it's the Eagles and, well, they don't normally draft very well. But I'm going to give them their props. They really had a good draft. They went out there, they traded up, for Devonta Smith. Great pick. Landon Dickerson in the 2nd. Great pick. You really could just end the draft there. But then they went further. They got McPherson, Gainwell. I'm not going to pronounce the interior D-line out of USC. Jacoby Stevens. And they got my favorite pick from their class, Patrick Johnson, the edge out of Tulane. I thought he was better than his partner in crime who won earlier. I completely forgot his name because I prefer Patrick Johnson.
Cam Sample.
Thank you. I prefer Patrick Johnson. I think he's more powerful. I think he's going to be a sneaky player who makes the roster as a really late seventh. He's gonna surprise some people in Philly with his power. He had a good amount of production. He's gonna come out there. He's gonna play. He has a really high motor. He's just gonna go out there and he's a good run stuffer too. It's really all of him making sure he can be more consistent. That was his number one concern, is his consistency, and it is the reason he fell from middle round to the seventh. Least favorite, I'll go Marlon from USC. Again, I know he's a good player. I'm not going to say his last name because I don't know how to say it, and I don't want to butcher it.
Oh, that, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know how to say it.
Tui Olutu.
Yeah.
I guess.
D-line wasn't a big need. They have Hargrave, and they paid Jackson, a bunch of guys. They don't need D-line. It didn't make sense for me, and that was the only hiccup they had for me. Other than that, Eagles class was great. Jacoby Stevens can play linebacker for you. I liked it.
Eagles class, I gave him a B, 3.02. Not bad. Pretty good. Favorite pick, I could easily say Landon Dickerson, but I'm actually going to go with Kenneth Gainwell, the running back out of Memphis. He was one of my favorite running backs from this class throughout the entire year. I think he can challenge. I think he has definitely the ability to challenge Miles Sanders for that starting job.
Yeah.
I think that highly of him. My least favorite pick, I'm going to go with Zech McPherson, the corner out of Texas Tech. He's got nothing really special about him. He's physical. He's good in run defense. He's good for a corner in run defense. He's intelligent, but he's unathletic. His back pedal is terrible. His hips are way too tight. I don't see him being anything better than special team. I would not use him in coverage, and I definitely would not use a fifth-round pick on that. If you're going with a corner, especially in the fifth round, you go with athleticism. I could care less about that special team value, especially when you get that athleticism guy that you can just have flying down the field on special teams.
Yeah. Ooh, it's the Steelers. You want to go first?
Sure.
I'll let you go into this
The
first.
Pittsburgh Steelers, a C plus, a 2.19. Oof. Yeah, I gave them 2 Fs for this class. As much as I love Najee Harris, I gave him a B minus for that pick. I just can't justify it.
Yeah.
My favorite pick, I'll have to go Buddy Johnson, the linebacker out of Texas A&M. Good in coverage. I think he's undersized, but I think he's also underrated in terms of his coverage ability. Having seen players, I saw him play Kyle Pitts, and he actually held his own pretty decently for as well as you can hold your own against Kyle Pitts. He did a pretty bang-up job. My least favorite pick, it's between my 2 Fs and Pat Freiermuth and Isaiah Loudermilk. I'm going to go with Pat Freiermuth, though. That was a terrible pick, in my opinion, especially in the second round, and you desperately need offensive line. I'm not a big fan of Pat Freiermuth anyway.
No.
It's just a bad pick.
Yeah, and that's one of the things where there's really not a correct way to draft. There's a lot of theories about best player available. There's a lot of theories about going by team needs and saying screw best player available. But I think there's a healthy balance in an NFL front office. You need to make sure you pick the best players available, but you also need to make sure you're not just picking guys at the same position over and over. Raiders, and I think that's something the Steelers have an issue with, is they just go purely by what they need, and that creates these weird picks like a Najee Harris and then a Pat Freiermuth 1-2 combo at first second. I don't like it. I ended up giving them a D minus. I almost gave them an F until I saw the Raiders class again. Worst pick. Pick your poison, man. Dan Moore, not a very good tackle out of A&M. Isaiah Loudermilk. I mean, what do you want from a fifth-round D lineman who's really only going to play one down? I mean, what do you want? Favorite pick? Should I go be a homer or should I be I'm going to go Quincy Roche. I had a late third round grade on Quincy Roche. I think he's a great player. I think he just kind of got spiffed by how many great Miami edge rushers there were. He's gonna make plays. He's gonna do good. But the Steelers did something very good, very smart in the 7th. They drafted the best punter in college football. They drafted the absolute unit, Presley Harvin. Go get it, man. Go get that job.
I actually,
He's a monster.
this grade is incorrect because I don't know why I gave Presley Harvin a C when I said I give all specialists an F. So
Oof.
that grade is actually incorrect.
Oof. The
I'm gonna
disrespect to
recalculate
give
that
the
real
big
quick.
unit an F. The disrespect, man.
Not my fault. Actually, it's not my fault you chose to play punter.
Listen, he could easily play linebacker if he wanted to. Or play D-line if he really wanted to. He's a big boy. Some of their undrafted. They also got Lamont Wade out of Penn State, undrafted. Eagles got Jamie Newman. Forgot about that. I'll let you calculate your GPA while we're waiting.
Oof. So
Oof.
this actually becomes the worst class.
Oof.
A C grade with a 1.97 grade.
Yikes.
So just below the Saints.
Yikes. You're not graduating with that. That's disgusting. Disgusting. Ouch. That's tough. Poor Steelers. Yeah, it was a bad class. All right. 49ers. I'll start us off. I like the 49ers class. Obviously, they got Trey Lance at 3. Hey, Trey Lance, you didn't draft Mac Jones. I wish you would have, because it would have saved us from the pain, but good job. You didn't draft Mac Jones. I'm going to go favorite pick that's not Trey Lance, obviously. This is going to be a weird one because I know you didn't give him a good grade. I'm going to go Trey Sermon at round 3. I love Trey Sermon. I think he's underrated in terms of the running backs in this class. You could make the argument he's running back 2 behind Najee. Would I make that argument? No. But you could easily make the argument he's a powerful runner. His vision's a little his burst is a little worrisome. But he's a power back. He's going to go out there. He's going to give you a bunch of carries if he stays healthy. And in that 49er room, they love to run the ball. And he's going to be running behind some nice guys, including Aaron Banks, who was a pretty good interior defense or offensive lineman in the second. Least favorite, I wasn't huge on Demondre Lenore, the corner out of Oregon. I mean, he's good. Don't get me wrong. It's just these corners, there was so many better corners, I feel like, in this draft. And in the 5th to 7th, if you weren't getting Israel Mukuamu, I think you're just making a mistake. And I think I look at what Lenore can bring. Yeah, good tackler, but I don't think he's Israel Mukuamu. And he's not a terrible pick. It's just the 49ers had a good draft.
Yeah. 49ers, I gave a B plus with a GPA of 3.125. So just in that exact middle portion between B and B plus, so I just bumped it up to B plus. I gave Trey Sermon a C, not because I don't like Trey Sermon. I didn't like the value. I had Trey Sermon much more of a 5th round player, honestly, than a 3rd rounder. And, he plays running back, so obviously his position isn't as valuable. And especially in that 49er crowded backfield, he's not going to see as much playing time as you'd like to see for a running back drafted in the top 3 rounds. But my favorite pick, I'm going to go... It's just Trey Lance. Trey Lance is my favorite pick. He was one of my favorite quarterbacks. I really wanted him in Denver. But alas, he went number 3 because the 49ers decided to make the right decision for some unknown reason. And
They just didn't want everyone to laugh at them.
But my least favorite pick, I'm going to have to agree with Wow. Okay. The corner Lenore. Lenore the corner.
Demondre. Yeah, I got you. Yeah, I agree. It was just a weird pick.
Now for the smallest class in the entire draft. 3 picks. Three picks for the
I'm
Seattle
not telling
Seahawks.
you to pick the pace up, but we are at an hour and 34 minutes, so we have just been talking.
Okay, Seattle Seahawks, B grade, 3.08. Favorite pick, their first pick, Dwayne Eskridge, one of my draft crushes. Worst pick, I'm gonna go with Trey Brown. I just didn't like the pick. Oh, I don't like the corner. I don't think he fits. He's not a great player.
I'm gonna piggyback right off favorite pick Dwayne Eskridge. I gave him a C, and it wasn't so much for the players they drafted. I just think when you only have 3 picks, your draft's really not that good. Sorry, Eskridge. Hey, he's gonna fit that team perfectly. He gives them a slot option. He also lets you play if you really want to. You can flex Tyler Lockett inside more often, create some over the field mismatch. I mean, because you have Eskridge and Lockett running across each other, you're gonna have to cover one of them, and they're gonna burn you. I love the pick. Least favorite, I guess I'll just toss it up to Stone Forsythe. Tackle, he's not that great. Developmental, he's not going to start. Then again, Seattle's offensive line is so bad, he might as well be. Just not high on him. The draft was it's 3 picks. What can you do? Tampa Bay. I'll take Tampa Bay first.
Brady Buccaneers.
I will take it first because here's the thing about Tampa Bay. The draft itself was average, B-. Wasn't anything spectacular, but they got a few dogs. Joe Tryon as a developmental edge, it was everything they had here is a luxury pick. And then they went Trask in the second. I told you Trask was going to go in the second, and you're like, no, he's not going to go second.
I didn't say he wasn't. I said I didn't have him graded that highly.
No,
and it was literally the last pick of the second.
All right, well, I'll take the second round crown because I knew he was going to go in the second. He scared me a little. He waited, but he went.
Literally picked 64.
But hey, he's going to go out there. He's going to learn behind the best of all time. Let him sit and let him go.
I didn't know he was sitting behind Peyton Manning.
Funny. Great pick. You could also go Jalen Darden. Great pick, which I'm sure will be yours, knowing you. Couple weird linebacker corner picks later. KJ Britt, Chris Wilcox, and Grant Stewart were okay, but I think they did better in undrafted. Calvin Ashley and Elijah Ponder were 2 really good undrafted free agents.
Yeah, I really like Calvin Ashley.
So overall, I gave him a B-. Man, they got Trask, got my boy. Sit and learn, man. You have one of the best jobs in football. You just get to sit and watch football for 2 years. Learn.
Okay, I gave him a B, 2.96. My favorite pick was Jalen Darden, the wide receiver in North Texas. Been one of my favorite wide receivers in the class for a while now. I think everyone knows that. Least favorite pick, it's between KJ Britt and Grant Stewart. They're just traditional run-stopping linebackers. There's nothing special about them. That's it.
Which is really all they needed in Tampa Bay. They have their pass coverage guys. They just need some more run stuffers, and they fit that mold. But yeah.
I would have liked to see them address the heir apparent to Levante David over a run-stopping linebacker, honestly. Especially because they drafted 2 of them.
Yeah, but at the same time, that may be their number 1 next year, is go cover backer early. Because they have Devin White, whose coverage ability can be iffy at times. Titans. I love this class. I'll let you go first, though.
Tennessee Titans, I gave them a B+, 3.15. I gave them 3 A+. One of my favorite classes as well, except for like more the mid-late, besides their very last pick. Their very last pick was almost my favorite, but I'm going to go with my boy Monty Rice out of Georgia. Dude's an absolute sleeper at linebacker. I saw him when they played Alabama run stride for stride with Devonta Smith on a crosser route. I am not underrating Monty Rice's athleticism at all. Monty Rice is my favorite pick, and he's just going to slide right in and do great things for Tennessee, hopefully.
Yep. Least favorite?
My least favorite pick was between Des Fitzpatrick and Elijah Molden. We've already talked about Elijah Molden a lot this podcast, so I'll just leave it at that, and we're pressed for time, so I'm not going to explain.
I'll go quickly. Caleb Farley and Dylan Radunes, 2 great picks. I like Radunes probably the most in this class in terms of the Titans. Great pick. He's going to be your starting left, right, whatever you think he's better. He can even play guard if you're not confident in his tackle abilities yet. He has that flexibility. Great pick. Least favorite pick, I don't mean to keep beating the dead horse, but Elijah Molden, I had to give an F. I don't think I don't think he's got it. He's too small, too slow, doesn't backpedal well, and when you finally get through all that, he doesn't really have a position in the NFL. Could he be a gunner on special teams? Maybe, but beside that, I don't see it anything else than a maybe occasional slot corner. Brady Breeze was a good pick out of Oregon.
Yeah.
Washington, last team. I'll just kind of jump into it real quick. I'm not going to take your pick because I already know who you like out of this one. They had a great draft. I gave him an A-. One of the higher drafts I had. I think it's probably in the top 5 or 7. Favorite pick, I'm going to go with Dynami Brown out of North Carolina. Huge playmaker, which Washington really needs opposite of Terry McLaurin. They have a bunch of wide receiver 3s and 4s. They don't have a true wide receiver 2 in that team. And I think he has that potential. They got Curtis Samuel in free agency to be a speed threat, but he's going to be kind of you want him to be your third option as a good third option. I think Dynami Brown's going to develop into that number 2. I love it. Least favorite pick, I'll toss it up to. I hate to do it because you have such a good name, but Cameron Cheeseman. He's a long snapper. You pick a long snapper in the 6th. Again, I didn't bash Carolina for doing it, so I can't be a hypocrite and bash you. It's a long snapper. If you think he's going to play 15 years, it's a good pick. So.
Yep. Washington football team, I gave him a B-, a grade of 2.85. Favorite pick, Jamin Davis. Either him or Dax Milne. Both were 2 of my guys going into this draft. My least favorite pick, I would go with Cameron Cheeseman. If it wasn't for A, his name, and 2, that he's a long snapper and will actually see playing time. My least favorite pick has got to be John Bates. I don't even see him as a practice squad candidate. I do not like him at all. Go out and prove me wrong, John Bates. I'd be more than happy to say I was wrong, but I don't like the pick at all. I don't see even him as rosterable on the practice squad.
Yeah. All right. And you said your
All
favorite
right.
pick was Jamin Davis, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I knew that was coming.
All right. I have my top 5 classes and my top 5 worst classes as well.
Go ahead.
So, to finish it all off, the best classes, number 1 came the Baltimore Ravens. Number 2, the Chicago Bears. Number 3, the Denver Broncos. Number 4, the Minnesota Vikings. And number 5, the Kansas City Chiefs. It's just the way I graded out. Top 5 worst classes, number 1, the Pittsburgh Steelers. Number 2, the New Orleans Saints. Number 3, the Dallas Cowboys. 4, the Las Vegas Raiders. And 5th and finally, the New England Patriots.
Makes sense. I didn't really do the top 5, top 4, so I'm just going to kind of break down again what I think. Carolina, you nailed the draft, and I will keep going back on it. Carolina had my favorite draft by far. Minnesota did a great job. Baltimore, Kansas City, just a few names. A few of the names I was disappointed with. Again, Las Vegas, just a terrible class, man. Pittsburgh, you didn't do anything. Cardinals, even, I wasn't huge on. And then, of course, we have, the Saints. We've dogged on the poor Saints enough. Listen, man, it was a fun draft. We took a little month off, but we're back. We may be a little inconsistent over the summer, just a fair warning. We got a lot of stuff going on. But I promise, once August, September rolls around, we'll be back to that consistent week-to-week, hopefully, as long as our schedules permit it. But, hey, man, thank you all for listening. I don't know if you have anything else to say.
Nope, I gotta go though.
All right, man.
That's what
Let's wrap it up. We'll see y'all hopefully next week on the